Here we are building our 2D model of the Earth-Sun system using GeoGebra. We have reached session 16, the December Terminator. You can check the comments to get a link to a playlist if you want to go back and go step by step through the entire process. So we identified that the challenge with this particular inequality that we used is that the cotangent of orbit is undefined when orbit equals 0 degrees. And we want our December solstice to occur when orbit equals 0 degrees. So let's go ahead and solve that problem. Right, it's time for some cleanup. We're going to start our year when orbit equals 0. We're going to say that that is the December solstice. But notice that suddenly the whole of the Earth is lit up, which isn't true in real life. And that's because when orbit equals 0 degrees, the denominator is 0, which is not allowed. So we're going to make a special case for this. So at this point, we would like the terminator just to be straight up and down. So we're going to add a line, another inequality, and we're going to say x is less than, and I think the less than or equal to doesn't really matter. Let's just say less than 7, and that looks pretty good. Now we're going to name that, he's section A here. So we're going to name that the December Terminator. So we'll call it DEC term. And that's what we have called that. Again, we don't care what color it is. Now we're going to make another, it's getting a bit crowded here, so I'll collapse those. We're going to make another intersection. So we're going to say we want the intersection of inner Earth. If you remember last time, that's what we called inner Earth. That's what we called the inside of the Earth. And we'll use our special characters. So that's this tab on our on-screen keyboard. We're going to choose the intersect symbol, and we're going to intersect that with, what did we call it now? DECTERM. And that is what we want. We are going to not show the December Terminator, and we're going to call this, let's just call it the solstice. Oh no, we better call it the December solstice. So we'll say DEC solstice. Now, let's make the December solstice yellow. We won't show the label, and we'll choose the color of yellow. I think this is what we've been choosing. Now is the time to learn something else about GeoGebra. So we can explain why we're getting the whole thing lit up here. So let's go into our Eloom 1, go into settings. We're going to choose this tab called Advanced. And in Advanced, there's a very useful field called Condition to Show Object. So we don't want Eloom 1 to show up until starting at 1 degree. So I'm going to say 1 deg is less than or equal to orbit. And by the way, I'm going to go ahead and make it less than or equal to 179 degrees. So type that as 179 deg. That's just one of those things about GeoGebra that I discovered. So now it's not showing until we move orbit over here. However, we have to do the same thing for our section called December solstice. So we want December solstice. If we go to Advanced, choose the field called Condition to Show Object, we only want it to show from 0 deg to be less than or equal to orbit, which will be less than or equal to 1 deg. So now it's December solstice. As soon as we move to 1 degree. Now we're into our illumination 1, and it looked pretty seamless. But we have to do the same on the other side, because once we get to 179, we told illumination 1 to stop showing. So that's December Terminator done, and in the next session we're going to finish off a couple more Terminators that we need. See you then.